Hi guys, this is Fabiana from Creative Swimwear, and today I'm gonna show you how I made this really nice bucket hat. I used upcycled jeans because I have a friend and she sent me a lot of pieces of jeans she didn't want anymore, and so I thought maybe I should make something with it. So I made this one and I made this one, and that's how they fit. They fit really well. As you can see, that's the top part of it, and this is the one here, and this is the other one. Okay, so I made two for you guys to have an idea of how they look like, and I also made one using leather that I like, with this little trim around it. That's really cool. Okay, so this leather, it's a different type of work. I'll be showing you guys in another video. But for this one, what I'm gonna show you in this video is how to work with jeans and crochet, and how I put them, all of them, how I stitch them all together. And there's a little secret to work with fabric and crochet that I'm gonna be showing you. It's really easy when you learn it, and I think it's really cool, like using jeans with crochet, because it makes the work much faster, because you don't really have to make the whole granny square. And I'm all for fast crochet projects. That's why I make bikinis, because I love like starting something that day and finishing the same day in a few hours and having something ready to use, you know. That's what I like doing. Anyway, this is the jeans that she gave me. She gave me a lot of jeans actually. So this is just legs. You can choose any jeans you prefer. This is the one that I used. Okay, and so I use the full leg. I have a bit left because I'm gonna make a bracelet as well. But so I use the full leg for this hat, so you guys know how much you're gonna be using. Okay, and I figure out that this is a bit thicker jeans, so it's not hard, but it's a little harder because to work, because more thick. And like this one, the stretchy ones, they're really easy to work, so because more thin. And this is the one I made then with that other jeans. It still fits the same, you know, fits the same, and it's a bit more light, so probably good for the beach, you know, with one of my bikinis you already made, I hope so. And so let's start this project. I'm gonna be explaining to you how to cut it, how to do everything to join all these squares together, and then the sizes and everything. But if you go to my website, you can get the PDF file to download the file, and then there is two sizes: small, medium, which is mine, and medium large for someone that has a little bigger head. But they, like this one, fit my boyfriend, so you know, it's kind of for everyone, I guess. But then on that file I have instructions as well for a medium large case, if you want to go there and get that as well. And always make sure you tag me on your creations if you're using this tutorial, because I'll be happy to see people making it and how did you go making my pattern. And also it helps supporting my work as well, because it's a lot of work to make these videos and to create these patterns for you guys. So it's nice when all of you share our work and also respect our copyrights. So let's start this now. Okay, we're gonna start cutting the squares and making crochet around each square. You can choose your colors. I used 7 different colors, one for each of the squares, so I call this a rainbow hat. And but you can use one color if you want. I only use 50 grams of cotton for all of them, so I'm going to be showing you as well the material I'm using before we start, and then the squares, crochet to the top and bottom, and crochet around the circle as well. Okay, so let's start it now. So to start making this bucket hat, I cut a little square in a piece of paper, and I wanted it to have 7 by 7 centimeters. So because I'll have to fold it later, I left half a centimeter on each side, because that's gonna allow me to fold the material later, because as you see, the jeans peels off like that, so we have to fold it to avoid that. So that's why we have this half a centimeter around it. So then after that we're gonna glue on the other side, and that's gonna allow us to have grain square like this one, with, as you can see, it's folded here, and I use the glue to glue it. So this is the size. It's 3 and a little bit, so 3 inches and a little bit there, 3 inches and a little bit there. So it's a square and it has the same size all around it. Okay, so yeah, it's meant to be 7 by 7, so it has 8 because of this margin that I have to leave here for folding. Okay, so though I'm doing it, I'm gonna cut this just like that. And I'll need, for this bucket hat, I'll need 7 of them, so cut 7 there. And then I'm gonna show you, next step is we're gonna glue the edges like I had on the other side, like I had on the other ones, okay? And you need 7 of these, so cut 7 there, stop the movie here, and then I'm gonna show you how to cut, how to glue the edges, so we can start making crochet around it. This glue here is fabric glue, or any other glue that you can glue jeans with. So I'm gonna glue 2 sides first, which is gonna be the top and the bottom here. And this glue, you have to let it dry for a day. So you wait for 1 day to, or a few hours, at least 12 hours, I think it's better, so it doesn't open. Okay, so glue this side, and then glue the other side. Make sure you're on the right side of the fabric, and glue the back of it. So glue on the back of your jeans. This is a pair of shorts that a friend gave to me because she didn't want anymore, and she said, Fabi, you can have it to try working crochet with denim. So yeah, I just cut the shorts and I have a full piece here. After that I'm going to be cutting a round circle here to use on the top of this hat. So now after I glue this both sides here, I'm going to cut this same distance here. So here, and here, and that way you're not gonna have that thick corner. And then what you do is you put the glue here on this side first. And then you're gonna have to wait a few hours to work on this one. So what I'm going to do now, I'm gonna cut these corners here. And then I'm going to have that square shape that I had exactly the size I wanted. And then, so next step now, we're gonna make crochet all around it. And then we're gonna join all of the squares together. So it's 7 of them, we're gonna be joining them together. And after that we're gonna work on the top of the hat. And then we are going to finish on the bottom of the hat. So just wait a few hours there. And then keep watching this movie because I'm gonna show you how to make crochet around it and which stitch I used for that. To crochet around this square, I'm using this hook. It's a very tiny hook. Okay, it's 0.95 millimeters. If you think that hook's gonna be too difficult for you, you can use this tool here and punch the holes before, okay, this way. So you can punch them and open them a bit, so you can use a bigger hook. What a bigger hook size would be is 125 maximum, because you don't want such a big hole on your fabric, because that's gonna open too big hole and people will be able to see the hole. So see here, you can't really see the holes. That's because I used this very fine hook. So if you think it's too hard for you, you can use a bigger hook and make the holes before with this tool. Okay, but I'm not using it because I like doing this way, but that's an option there for you. So I'm using this fine hook 0.95. Okay, and I'm gonna start on this corner here. I'm going to make a knot first, like this. Pull it through. And then from here, I'm going to pull. So the knot's gonna be there on the back. I'm going to pull this here and make my first single crochet. And then straight after, I'm going to the second hole. See the holes, they are right underneath where I folded. So you're always gonna have the same height in your crochet stitches. So you pull it through here, and then you make your single crochet, and I'm going to make one chain and another single crochet in that same hole. And then I'm going to the next hole and make another single crochet, one chain between the stitches that go in the same hole. I'm going to have one chain there, and then I'm going to the next one. So the way I know the distance is sort of like this. You put your hook like this and you know the exact distance, and on the back you can see right underneath where the fabric's folded. So this way they're gonna be always, all the stitches are gonna be in that same distance and height. So here you make the chain there. I don't think I did. So here one chain between them and then another one in that same hole. So as you can see, it's not hard to punch holes with the hook. You just have to apply a little bit of pressure. And so for this you need a hook that doesn't bend. Can't be plastic, can't be bamboo, and can't be aluminum because they bend. So it has to be this shiny one here. This one is Tulip from Japan. I think they're the best hooks for me. So these are the ones that I use for this type of work. And I actually tried other hooks before, but because they are not sharp, their tip's not sharp. So as you can see, this one has a very sharp tip, and that's why it works for this type of project. So I'm gonna stop here because I want to show you the corner. Okay, so stop here, I'm gonna get to the corner and show you what I do here, because it's a bit different. Here right on the corner, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 chains and then another stitch here. So I'm going to make 3 stitches this time with 2 chains in between them. And every corner is going to be exactly like that. Another thing you have to be careful is not to split the yarn because the hook's so small. Okay, and that's it. So now after this last stitch here on the corner, we're going to make straight away another one on the other side, right underneath where it's folded. One here with a chain in the middle and another here. And so now we're gonna be repeating what we did here, and every single corner is gonna be like this one, okay? So I'm making 7 squares like this, and I'm making them all colorful. So after making this yellow, you should make one every color if you wanna use the same colors I did, because I'm using scraps of my yarn. So I made every color of the rainbow. I really like this color. So it's gonna be 7, one each color, if that's what you wanna do, or whatever you color you choose. If you have 3 colors, just make 2 each color. And there's 7 total, and you have to have a tail, leave a tail at the end so we can stitch them together to start making the rest of this bucket hat, okay? So one each color, same repetition as here. You're gonna finish here. I'm gonna show you how you're gonna finish here first, and then all the rest is the same. Finishing on this square, you should have around 6 holes in between the corners. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Try to make the same number on every side, because that's gonna make your life easier for the rest of this hat. Okay, and here, getting on the last stitch, I'm gonna put the, without making any chains, so I'm just gonna make another stitch in this first stitch here, in this first hole here. Okay, so another way you can make your life easier to pass the thread through the hole is just you put your hook through a little longer, and that's gonna open a little bigger hole, and that's gonna make your life easier on these corners. So I'm gonna put the hook through, pull it, and I'm going to make one single crochet here and then 2 chains, same as I did to every corner, and then another stitch here, make sure you have enough yarn here to make your stitch, and so the fabric's straight, it's not squeezed. And so after this stitch here, I'm going to make a double crochet in this first one, because what I want to happen is I want my tail to be right on the corner, because that's where I want to start making sewing both sides, both parts together. So as you can see, this one's right on the corner, so when I start sewing them together, I'm going to start from the corner, not from here. So that's gonna make your life easier at the end as well. So to make the holes bigger, just pull the hook through a bit longer, so it's gonna open a bigger hole, and that's gonna make your life easier at the end as well. So we can cut here and leave 25-inch tail so we can stitch all the squares together. So we're gonna stitch them on the same way. See here, the fabric is the same way here, so make sure it is like that for all of them, and then stitch them side by side like this. But I'm gonna show you how to do that right now. I'm going to stitch with this needle here, and make sure also the fabric is facing the right way as well. So you're gonna have the back, the front facing the front of, or which means you're gonna be looking to the back. So you're gonna be looking to the back of both sides, okay, because we want to stitch on the back. So here is my thread. You're gonna pass it through the second side of your stitch, the second little loop, not the first one, so we don't want this stitching to show too much. And then on this next stitch here, and on the back loop there, so both back loops of my single crochets. So then you're gonna skip one and make another stitch on the next one. So skip one here, and on this one, so I'm getting the outside of this little stitch here and the outside of that one. So end of both loops of my stitches. And here I'm going to make an extra stitch on the corner. So on the corner I'm going to have one more, just to make sure it is well done. So here I made one more, and I'm going to make a knot to finish it. Here, if you want to be sure, just make another knot there. But before you make both knots, just check it, see, it's looking good. That's how I wanted it to look. I wanted to hide the stitching. Okay, and now I can just come here and wave this tail here and then cut it off. So repeat that all around it, okay, until you connect the last one here on the other side of the yellow, okay? So keep doing that, repeat the same thing, and then we're gonna have sort of like a circle of granny squares, and then we're gonna start working the top of this head. So just to show you, because I didn't finish this one yet, that's how it's gonna look like. This one I made in leather. Okay, this is leather here, and it's leather on the top here, so I put a round part here and I made crochet around it, and then I put both parts together. So that's what we will be doing. I sew them all together. Okay, and now, and that's the order that I used, the sequence of colors that I used. So you know how to make yours. This was just good on my head, and I'm gonna put the measurements. I'm gonna measure it later, so you know which size of head and how many squares. I'll probably put a description below to a pattern for this one, okay? So on the pattern I'm going to put each size of square for each size of head size, okay? So that's what it looks like. Now I'm really happy about it, and so now I'm going to start working the top here, and I'm going to make 2 rows, as you can see. Hard to see here, but I have 2 rows here of double crochet. So I'm going to work a few 2 rows up here, and then I'm going to measure the size of the round piece of jeans on the top here. Let me show you what's the size of full size of this now. 10.5 inches, or around 26-27 centimeters, because this, you know, yeah, 26.5, 27 centimeters. So now we're gonna make these 2 rows to the top here. Just choose a color you like. I think I'm going to be working with this turquoise color. I decided to work with the blue color, and because that's more similar to the jeans color and it's not so bright, but you can choose which color you want. So here I'm going to make that first knot, the slip knot, to start my crochet, and I'm going to put the hook through, and I'm using a bigger hook now, okay? I'm using number 0 or 2.1 millimeters hook, okay? Because I don't need to punch holes anymore, so I can change to a bigger hook. So pull this yarn through here, and then make it tight and make 2 chains. We're gonna be making here a double crochet row, so we'll be making one stitch in this, in here in between both of these stitches, and one stitch in between them. So we're gonna be decreasing a few stitches because we don't want this to be as wide as this one. We want it to start getting a bit smaller for the top of the head. So one here, what I'm making now, and one here, one in between, one in the middle of both stitches, and one stitch in between them. So we're gonna make a full row of this same stitch, and then another one on top of it. So 2 rows of this. You can make your 2 rows there, and I'm making my 2 rows here. And then we're gonna have to cut the top of, and as well here in the middle I'm going to make one there, one here in the middle where you can put your hook, and one here on the beginning of this next row, of this next granny square, and then repeat the same thing again. So double crochets here. We're gonna be working with half double crochets. So double crochets here, just because this is just for the top. We can make longer stitches, but here, because we need this to have a little bit more stiffness, we're gonna make this in half double crochets, okay? And maybe make this same edging here, because I like it. I like how it looks at the end with 2 colors of your choice. So repeat that all the way to the end, and then make a second row of this same color and same stitch as well. And then I'm gonna show you which size we have to cut that top circle, and then we're gonna be working on that next. The way I made the round top of my head, that's gonna be this thing here. So I measured the one I made before, and it's 13 centimeters. So I measured 13 centimeters here, and then I made a dot right in the middle, and then I measured 13 here. And the way you can do now, you can connect just by hand, but I'm using this because it's just easier to make it perfectly round. So you put the needle part in the middle, and then this one here, and then you just draw your circle. Okay, so now I have this circle here. I'm going to cut. I'm actually gonna make, because I'll have to fold, I didn't have to fold on my leather, but here I'll have to fold it, so I'm going to give that 5 millimeters here around the entire piece. So when I cut, I can fold it, because I have to fold on the jeans. I didn't need to fold when I worked with the leather, because the leather you can just cut and use it straight away. But for this one I'll have to fold and stitch with the needle and thread on this case, because it's round, it's gonna be difficult to glue. Okay, so I'm going to stitch this part with a needle and a thread, and so I'm gonna cut this round part here, and then I'm going to place, like I did before, right on top of my denim, and I'm gonna cut a round piece like this. And after I cut that, I'm gonna show you how to sew how to make the stitching around this round piece, and then we're gonna crochet around the entire piece like we did with every granny jeans we made before. Okay, so stop here, cut your round piece there, and then I'm gonna show you how to stitch around it. It's quite easy. After we cut this part here, it has a diameter of 5.5 inches, and now we're gonna fold. We are going to fold around 1/4 of an inch all around it. So make sure you're looking at the wrong side of these jeans. Okay, that's the front, and this is the back. And then here we're going to start sewing this together. We can't use the glue here because it's not straight, so we'll have to do this way. So I'll be folding like this and stitching. Unfortunately, I can't glue here because this is round, so I'm gonna be doing this all around it, and then after that we're gonna crochet all around it like we did with the granny squares, but this is quite fast actually. So keep folding and stitching it, and then after that we'll be making the same thing we did on with the granny squares. Okay, we're gonna do this same crochet around it, and then we're gonna make a few rows of single crochets and double crochets around until we get to this same size that I have here, and then we're gonna join them both together. Okay, so finish this there. I'm gonna show you the beginning of this crochet, the crochet around it, because you sort of already know, because it's the same thing we did for the granny square. And then I'm gonna show you how many inches I have on this round part and how many inches I have here, so you can copy and make the same thing. That I finish sewing this part here, that's how it looks like. I just put in here right on top of what I just had before, the part I had before, just to look how many rows I have to make still. Around an inch, okay, from here to there, and that's what we're gonna be making now. So I think I'm going to be working still with the blue. I'm gonna work with the blue all the way now, and then after that I'm going to put a daisy flower here as well, and then I'm going to make a few rows underneath with all the colors. I think it's gonna look nice with all the colors on the bottom of this crochet bucket hat. It's really nice, isn't it, guys? Love these colors. So okay, let's keep doing it. So I'm going to get that very thin hook again and start punching holes on it. If you want to use that same tool I showed you before, you can use that too, no problems. And start with your slip knot there. Put the hook through. Always make a bigger hole if you want to. And pull the yarn to the other side and make one stitch here. And then now, because we don't have corners, we don't have to make back corners, so we're gonna be making one chain in between and straight away another one here, another single crochet here, and then punch another hole like this, because that's how the stitch is looking like. It's looking like this. So you put the hook exactly like this, and right underneath where it's folded, again like we did before, punch a little bigger hole, pull it through, and make that second stitch. So chain in the middle, and then one more here. Careful not to split the yarn too much. So this way, if you always do like I said, you're gonna have the same space in between your stitches. Okay, again like this. Same angle I have on the other stitches. It helps if you move the fabric around. Some jeans, they're more thin and it's easier to punch holes through. So keep repeat that all the way around the entire circle. Okay, until you get here, and then you just finish with a single crochet in this first stitch here. Okay, and then we're gonna start the next row. And after we finish this first row here, we can actually remove this thread underneath because we don't need it anymore, and it actually shows underneath the work. So we can just cut it off, okay? We don't need it anymore because it's gonna be folded and closed with the crochet stitches. So I finished this row here with a slip stitch. Okay, and straight from here, working with the other hook again, 2.1 millimeters, we're gonna start making half double crochets. So we're gonna make a full row of half double crochets. One half double crochet in each stitch from before. So we're gonna have one here, one here, and one here this time. So work half double crochets all around it. Okay, so repeat this there, and when you finish, we're gonna make the next row. Just make sure you make exactly one stitch in every stitch you had before, in this case here, because you're gonna need all that stitches to have sort of like a flat round piece on the top. So here I ended up making 2 rows of the same, with the same number of stitches, and 2 rows of half double crochets. And then I compared with the size of the hat that I made before, and it was the same, so I'm only making 2 here and 2 here. And now I placed markers halfway, so I have one marker here, one marker here, so I know how to stitch it. And I also placed, I have that's where I'm gonna start, and that's half of it. So I did this, I made this, and that's where half seat, so one before this one, because then it's gonna be easy when I'm stitching. So I also count the stitches that I have. So I had 120 here all around it, and here I had 136. So I made 136 less 120, which is 16, and 136 by 16, it's 8.5. So around every 8 stitches I'll have to skip one here, but I'm not skipping here, okay? Because then I'm gonna have the same. I'm gonna get to the same spot at the same time, just because here I have more stitches than here. So every 8 stitches here, I'm gonna skip one here, but I'm not gonna skip any here, okay? And to start stitching this, I'm on the back side of both, because I don't want this stitch showing on the front. And I'm gonna stitch the same way I did before with my granny squares. I'm going to do like this first one, and now I can remove this marker because I won't need it anymore. Okay, and then on the other side here, so that's my first stitch. Okay, and then I'm going around like I did before, so count 8, and then you're gonna skip one here but not here. Okay, so we're gonna make every single one of them, but on number 8 you're gonna skip one, so you have the same, you get to the same spot at the same time on the other half here. Okay, so just keep repeating this until you get to the other side. I'm only using the back part of the both stitches, only the outside loops on this one and that one, same we did before with the granny squares. So go all the way around it and do the same thing I did with my stitches. First the one you have more stitches, because you're probably not gonna have as many stitches as I have. So the one that have more, less the one that have less. I'm gonna show you here on a piece of paper. So it is, I had 136 on the top, 136 on the top, I had 136 here, and I had 120 here. So 136 less 120 equals 16, and then I made 136 divided by 16, and that was equal 8.5. So every 8 stitches I'm gonna be skipping one on this, from this row here. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. Repeat that all the way to the end, and then we're gonna start this part here of this hat. Okay, okay, so every 8 stitches, what you do is you grab the next one of this row and you skip one here. So that's what we are doing. So we end up with at the same place halfway here. Okay, so we both, these both have to join together when we get here, and that's half of our hat. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing that until I finish really, and then I'm gonna show you how to make this bottom part here. Okay, finished here, stitch both sides together That's how it looks like now. And then I'm gonna start making the bottom now. Okay, so I can also go ahead and cut this thread underneath here. This little thread we had. Okay, you can remove that. That's the way you remove it, so remove it all there. And then when you finish, we're gonna go to the bottom here. So I'm gonna start working with the blue, and then I'm gonna make the same sequence that I have here. So blue, this, I'm going to go this way, okay? So with that same hook we were using before, I'm going to start again here on the blue. Make a slip knot on the beginning here. Okay, slip knot here before you start using this collar. Then pull through that first stitch and make one chain. Then pull it all tight here, and then we're gonna start working half double crochets. So one half double to every stitch you have before. I'm here covering the tail as well, so it's already done when we finish. So work on every single stitch because we want to make this bigger. So see, as you can see, this is gonna be bigger than the rest. So we need to start increasing this way, okay? So we're gonna repeat the same row we did just here with a half double to every stitch we have before. And then we're gonna change the color to the next color. So you can pause the video here, and then after that I'm going to show you how we're gonna do about the next rows and how many stitches we will be increasing as well, okay? Here I've cut my yarn, and I'm going to start the next row with the yellow. So I'm going that way on the sequence of colors. So I made a slip knot there already, and I'm going to pull this color in through the two loops there, and make sure everything's really tight before I start this next row here. And I'm going to make one chain from here, place the tails behind there, and work again half double crochets. I'm going to be following this sequence here, okay, and I'll be increasing 10 stitches in every row from now on. I'm going to make 7 rows to start with, okay? You can make 7 rows there, which is the 7 colors we have here. Stop the video here, and then when we come back I'll have made 7 rows here, and then we're gonna see how many centimeters we need. So this hat here, this other hat I made had around 2 and a little bit inches, okay? So it's like 2 inches if I don't count with that last row. So you can make 2 inches there, or around 6 centimeters, 5.5 centimeters. So make your rows until you have this height here, or 7 rows, one with each color. That's what we want to do anyway. And then I ended up making 2, 4, 6, 8 rows for this part of the head, one in each color. Okay, and the number of stitches I increased in every row is 6. So what I did was I tried to increase 1 stitch to every square I was making here. So 6 stitches, around 6 stitches to every row here. And now to finish this, I'm actually gonna show you the size of this part here is almost 5 centimeters and 2 inches, okay? So after this I'm going to glue these stitches here on the bottom, so I'm gonna cut them. And then this one I'm gonna weave inside. So I'm using this fabric glue. Okay, now what I'm going to do is put a little bit here in each one of them on the bottom. I did this with my ruler so I don't have to put my fingers. Just press it like this. And once they're glued there, just leave them like that for a while. And then with this one, using a little smaller hook, I'm going to weave around, and then you can glue if you want. And then just cut at the end. Okay, so this is a small to medium large size bucket hat, but I'm gonna leave on the description below because I made the pattern for this, and then I made a medium large size as well, so you have all the measurements there of this part, and these parts on my website. That way you help supporting me to make more patterns for you every week. Okay, I only put a price from $5 to $10 to each pattern I make, so it's very affordable. You're gonna be helping my work as well, so I can make more patterns for you guys. And this is the other bucket hat I made. This is the same size, I just made a little smaller here. I made 6 rows instead of 7. I think 7 is better, okay? But all the rest similar. So I use crochet jeans shorts for that, denim shorts, and it came out really cool. I love the colors. Let me know what you think. Okay, because this is a brand new design I made just by mixing and matching stuff I saw on Pinterest, and I love the way it came out, really love it. I'm gonna make a few more photos to share with you guys here, and if you like this tutorial, please leave me a comment and subscribe and like this, also like this video, because that helps me creating more designs for you guys. I'm actually making a top with the same color of this one to match, and I'll be posting it soon for you guys. And I'm also thinking of making a handbag and a little coin purse as well that I'm gonna be sharing soon on my channel. So hope you guys enjoyed. I love them. Thank you for watching, and I see you next week.